AVU 25 News Now at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Amaya Norman.
And I'm Trenton Whiting.
Victoria County deputies released the name of a victim killed last night. 47-year-old Charmany Lewis of Plano was killed by a gun Friday morning near on Minetry Road. The suspect is a 41-year-old Sang Savin of Cambodia. Savin had two active murder warrants, one out of Los Angeles and another out of Victoria County. Deputies found Savin in the area of Houston Highway and FM 1686 at around 8 p.m. last night. He was arrested without incident in possession of a firearm. The county confirmed Savin was in the U.S. illegally.
The state of Texas is scheduled on October 16th to execute a man with autism, but a growing coalition, including the former detective in the case, is calling for the state to stop the execution. Robert Roberson was sentenced to death in 2003 for killing his 2-year-old daughter. His lawyers say new medical evidence and a better understanding of autism could prove he was wrongfully convicted.
And we are here today because Texas is about to make a horrible mistake. On October 16th, the state of Texas plans to execute Robert Roberson. Execute him even though the evidence against him has collapsed. Execute him even though the science that convicted him has been debunked. Execute him even though the jurors, experts, even the lead detective have all said that this conviction was wrong.
Roberson has maintained his innocence throughout the case.
An investigation is underway after two children were killed in a shooting in Angleton, Texas early Saturday morning. Two other children were wounded. Police say officers were called to a gas station, but they did not believe the shooting occurred at the location. The two wounded children were flown to the hospital in critical condition, but officials say they are expected to survive. Police say an adult female was taken into custody. However, her relationship to the children is unclear.
District Judge Julie C. Bachnight is officially running for re-election, according to a press release from her campaign. It would be her second term in the 267th District Court after becoming Victoria County's first female district judge in 2021. Judge Bachnight had 24 years of experience in family law prior to her election in 2021. She took over for former District Judge Robert Bell. Her statement says she looks forward to continuing her service, pledging to fairly provide equal justice to all who appear before her.
Now to new details in the Mormon church shooting during Sunday service.
Authorities releasing some new police body cam footage of the horrifying attack as people inside were praying. ABC's Olivia Rubin has more.
South end of the building, south end of the building.
This morning, newly released video showing the terrifying moment officers responded to the deadly shooting at a Michigan church, confronting the gunman.
I got your back here, man.
Body camera footage shows this officer arriving on scene. Immediately, he rushes towards the church, gunshots still ringing out.
Shoot him!
There, you see officers encountering the suspect, soon open firing. That suspect now deceased, identified as 40-year-old Thomas Sanford, an Iraq War veteran. Police say he killed 4 and injured 8 others when he crashed his truck into the Church of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan on a Sunday morning. Hundreds still inside worshiping.
We have an active shooter at the church and PD's on scene saying the building is also on fire.
Sanford then opening fire and setting the building ablaze, some still trapped inside. Police later finding explosives in his vehicle too. Churchgoer Brian Taylor describing to our affiliate WXYZ the terrifying moment. He says he was shot at while trying to bring others to safety.
He pointed his gun at our car and fired 3 shots. 2 of them went through our windshield and just missed me, and luckily everybody else.
Now, police giving new details about their response, saying that first officer was on site about 3 minutes after the first 911 call. The suspect shot and killed shortly after.
2 officers running to the sounds of gunfire to save lives. Very courageous actions. This is what law enforcement is trained to do.
Port Lavaca is preparing for several changes early next week. The city is reporting a water use restriction notice for Tuesday. The Undine Water Treatment Plant will be offline between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. on October 7th for maintenance. It was originally scheduled for Monday. The city is asking residents to not irrigate, wash vehicles, driveways, or use excessive amounts of water. Restaurants are being asked to not serve water outside of customer request. Also, the city is opening the entry gate system to Lighthouse Beach Park on Monday morning. Daily passes are $5 per vehicle. Annual passes can also be purchased at City Hall for $25. Annual passes for people 65 years old and older are eligible for a $5 discount. The fee is solely for vehicle access. Pedestrians can access the park free of charge.
Now let's go to Jacob Lozano with the first look at our forecast. Jacob, today was at Tejas Fest, and the weather was actually warm, but not too bad.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty nice.
Yes, I was out there at Tejas Fest right around the mid-afternoon or early afternoon, excuse me, and it was a little bit warm, a little bit of cloud cover. Thankfully, we didn't get any of that rain. A lot of that shower activity actually just remains south of us there, closer to Calhoun County, and as well as parts of Refugio County. But that's all from this mid-upper level low that is right here in the Gulf right here. And that's actually going to be moving up into the north-northeast here, or north-northwest here towards the Houston area, just north of that as well. But high pressure out west is going to be shrinking down as well. And we're also watching a little low pressure disturbance there at the mid-levels up north as well. But our main focus right now is right here. And we're going to be talking about all of this coming up in the full weather report. Amaya?
As fall officially kicks off, one Victoria tradition is back and bringing the community together in a big way. Today, volunteers from all across the community gathered at First United Methodist Church to help unload truckloads of pumpkins for the church's annual pumpkin patch. It was a morning filled with laughter, teamwork, and plenty of pumpkins lifting as families, church members, and local organizations came together to get ready for the fall season. Each year, the pumpkin patch opens its gates to the public, offering pumpkins of all shapes and sizes, along with homemade pumpkin bread and fall-themed items.
This is a cornerstone event for all of our community here in Victoria. Kids come here every year to take pictures in the pumpkin patch, find their biggest pumpkin, enjoy playing here in the pumpkin patch, taking pictures. It's just great family fun for everybody here in Victoria.
100% of the proceeds go right back into the community, supporting local organizations and those in need. The pumpkin patch at First United Methodist Church starts tomorrow and will continue to the end of October.
Music, food, and culture filled the streets of downtown Victoria this weekend for the return of Tejas Fest, a celebration of Texas pride and community spirit. Crowds gathered to enjoy live music, local vendors, and authentic food as Tejas Fest brought the heart of Texas culture to life. The second annual event this year, highlights the unique blend of traditions that make Victoria special, from Tejano tunes and country hits to family-friendly fun for all ages. Visitors also enjoyed arts and crafts, games, and plenty of dancing throughout the day. Organizers say Tejas Fest is all about celebrating community, diversity, and the local talent that keeps Victoria vibrant.
And it was a weekend of fun and family bonding at Texas A&M University Victoria during the school's annual family weekend. Students and their families enjoyed free food, games, and activities, including a friendly student versus parents dodgeball game. University leaders say the event helps strengthen the bond between students and their loved ones while celebrating Jaguar pride.
Now, for more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Carolina Estrain and Parker Cox will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise. You can also submit a local military hero so we can recognize them.
Coming up, some federal employees are choosing to withhold their salaries. More in the moment.
And temperatures got to 92 degrees for our high today. Well, could be worse, 103, 1926. We didn't get rain, but we still have rain in our forecast, and I'll be talking about that when we come back.
Welcome back. We turn now to a major development in the Middle East. President Trump calling on Israel to halt military operations in the Gaza Strip after Hamas agreed in principles to a U.S.-led proposal to end the war and free the hostages.
Here's ABC's Ian Pennell in Jerusalem with the details.
President Trump's peace plan had been accepted by Israel and was welcomed internationally after it was unveiled earlier this week as Netanyahu visited the White House. Then yesterday, Hamas releasing a statement saying it accepts some of Trump's proposals, agreeing in principle to release all the remaining hostages alive or dead. However, Hamas will only free the hostages if proper field conditions are met and says they're ready to negotiate the details. Hamas also says it would hand over the administration of the Gaza Strip to a Palestinian body with support from Arab nations. But there's no mention of Hamas disarming, as President Trump demanded, and there are questions about just how that would happen and who would oversee it.
Hamas is assessed still to probably have 10 to 15,000 fighters still at arms. And where are those fighters and how much of their weapons do they still have control of?
Netanyahu's instructed the Israeli military to hold all offensive operations in the Gaza Strip, according to two Israeli sources familiar with the matter. Only defensive measures are permitted. Palestinians in the Gaza Strip reacting to news of a possible agreement. I hope Hamas ends the war, this man says, because we're truly tired. The war has left nothing for us. Some Israelis expressing concern Netanyahu may sabotage the deal. Yehuda Cohen's son, Nimrod, is still being held in Gaza. He says he's counting on President Trump.
We're putting our trust in Trump because he's the only one who's doing it, who's the only one who has power to do it.
Indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas now expected to take place in Egypt on Monday. A White House official says U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will travel to Egypt to join those negotiations. Ian Pannell, ABC News, Jerusalem.
As the government shutdown stretches into day 4, food banks are preparing for increased demand. One food bank in Washington, D.C. estimates roughly 75,000 federal workers are living paycheck to paycheck. As a result, the food bank anticipates the affected households could need their help if they are furloughed and if the shutdown goes on for a while. The food bank says they were already seeing an increase in need as a result of federal job cuts earlier this year. Food banks in other states are similarly preparing for a possible increase in demand since the vast majority of federal employees work outside the Washington metropolitan area. Other key programs, such as SNAP, could also be disrupted if the shutdown extends into next month. Now to Washington, entering day 4 of that government shutdown. Congressional efforts to break the deadlock failing again on Friday as millions of Americans face potential impacts.
ABC's News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang joined us with the latest overnight.
This morning, as the government shutdown drags into the weekend, the White House ramping up its threats, warning thousands of federal workers could soon lose their jobs.
Layoffs are an unfortunate consequence of that.
Republicans refusing to negotiate until Democrats reopen the government.
Democrats need to vote for the clean, nonpartisan, continuing resolution sitting right there. And then we can talk about whatever we need to talk about.
Democrats digging in, refusing to cave until Republicans agree to reverse Medicaid cuts and extend Obamacare subsidies to keep premiums from increasing for millions.
Failure to act would be devastating. And Republicans know it. Even Donald Trump knows it.
Kristen Furman Simmons in Maine, who is battling MS, says if the Obamacare subsidies expire, her premiums could go up 169% and her health could suffer.
Having to take away from part of our budget, which is already very slim, and think about risking pieces of my health, including my vision, my mobility, and potentially worse.
President Trump escalating the pressure, calling the shutdown an unprecedented opportunity to cut Democrat agencies, already freezing funding for projects in 16 states that voted blue in the last election. Caught in the middle, millions of federal workers, 750,000 furloughed, including Mark Cochran, who leads a local AFG union and works for the National Park Service in Pennsylvania.
We're living paycheck to paycheck, so we can't afford to just sit at home waiting for the politicians to decide that they're going to be adults and do their jobs. Some of our staff, they'll have to go to food banks.
A growing number of lawmakers on Capitol Hill say they will forego their paychecks aimed at the government shutdown. Some lawmakers say they will donate their salaries until the shutdown is over. Others have formally requested that their pay will be withheld. Most rank and file members of Congress earn $170,000 annually. However, those in the top leaderships are paid more.
Experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscasts and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus.
When we come back, we're going to be talking about the tropics. Crossroads. Let's take a quick look at the tropics because there's a little bit of activity going on, especially there in the Gulf, because that's where we're going to see a little bit of our weather. 60% chance of development within this system here as it moves out towards the middle of the Atlantic there, heading towards the Caribbean with a 60% chance there. But if we go into the Gulf here, we have this now marked area. This is what we've been talking about. What we've been watching is this mid-upper level low. More now at the surface as well, but it's got 0% chance of development, so that's a great thing. Problem is it's looking like it's going to continue up more north of us, and unfortunately that's by nature not going to bring a lot of rain for us here. But we are also looking at the Pacific. We have an area of development here, 60% chance for development within this orange shaded area. And now we have Tropical Storm Priscilla that had formed here just a couple of hours ago, and that's going to continue as a Category 1 and continue to run that coastline there along Mexico, as well as Tropical Storm Octave, which is a little bit behind this area. We'll have to get that moved out there. But let's go back to the Gulf there. It's causing a little bit of issues, as well as some astronomical issue, or associated with this is an astronomical issue. Till Sunday morning, there are coastal flood advisory because of that mid-upper level low, as well as the moon. So rip currents is going to be a little bit high, giving about a 20% chance for some rain there on Sunday as well. So if you have any activities out there, just be aware of that. But we do have the Hunter's moon, and it's going to be a super moon there for October 6th and 7th, so it's about 14% bigger, and it is going to be bringing up those tides there just a little bit here over the next couple of days. But looking out at the jet stream tracker, our mid-upper level low, this is on Monday, so it should be moved on out of here, but we do have high pressure that's going to be building right back up over us here, and that's actually going to be getting a little bit stronger there, so we're going to be watching for those temperatures to increase there, as well as rain chances are going to be cutting out there for Friday and Saturday. But we are also watching that mid-upper level low out towards California. They may bring a frontal system down to North Texas, but unfortunately may not bring it all the way down here. But looking at future tracker, a couple little showers here overnight, 3 a.m., getting a little bit more cloud cover there. And it's going to be the name of the game, as most of that shower activity is going to remain a little bit farther down south here over the next couple of days. But if we look out, there's that X marked right there. That's the mid-upper level low. It's got a counterclockwise rotation, almost tropical-like there, because it pretty much is tropical-like. The National Hurricane Center has looked at it, but it's looking like it's not going to be doing much. The typical nature is On the northeast side of the storm is typically the heavier side, and well, the southwest side typically the drier side, so it's not looking like we're going to be getting anything. It was a little bit farther down south there a couple days ago, but it's continuing to track more northward. But for your daily planner, sunny skies, mostly sunny skies for the next day, as well as Port Lavaca, seeing that as well, giving about a 20% chance for some rain still there, as well as Cuero. Relatively sunny skies, but 20% chance for rain tomorrow. Going to keep it there in the mix for Monday and Tuesday as the system moves up northward. But temperatures are going to be increasing once that high pressure moves in. Now, don't forget to scan the QR code for more news, weather, and sports. And speaking of sports, we got Ray.
Thank you, Jacob. Week 6 is seeing some crucial district games being played. See what Coach Salazar has to say after beating Palacios in their homecoming game and more coming up in sports. Week 6 of CFL featured a crossroads matchup that saw the Goliad Tigers beat the Palacios Sharks. Final score 31-14. This homecoming victory came with its share of setbacks, but according to Coach Salazar, it's always room for more improvement.
And cut out some of the penalties. You know, you can't have that against anybody. You know, and put yourself in bad situations. So once we kind of eliminated that, you know, we were able to break some things open here in the second half, and the defense was able to, you know, step up and force some more punts and get off the field. And shoot, even in the second half, we still left, you know, a couple of touchdowns on the board that got called back. So, you know, we got to go back and clean some of those things up and get ready for London next week.
All right, thank you, Coach Salazar. And your top 3 plays this week is seeing your local teams from the Crossroads continue to up their level of play. We're looking at 2 familiar teams in Cuero and Tidehaven, but Palacios has also made this week's list, and the theme, teams getting the job done whether it's rushing or passing. The Palacios Sharks make a splash in this week's top 3 plays, debuting against a tough, relentless Goliad squad. The Sharks had their work cut out for them when it comes to this play, and I don't think we have it, but let's just continue to talk about it. Oh, there it is, guys. But like I said, Palacios making a deep, going against a tough Goliad squad. Watch as Palacios quarterback Alex Weaver fires a deep rocket downfield to wideout Trey Weichselman, locked down by not 1, but 2 elite Goliad defenders. Still, Weichselman pulls it off and grabs the finishes with a strong touchdown. And Tidehaven locks in with the number 2 play of the week as of week 6. And if the beast of a run, it ended in a touchdown, if this run ended in a touchdown, we'd be talking about a different story. Watch as Bryce Sleva go beast mode, plowing through 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders. He stops just yards short of the end zone, but if he'd held his footing, that would be 6 points on the board. And your top play of the week goes to Cuervo's Camilo Perez once more. The 6-0 Gobblers continue their 6-0 dominance in style, and with Perez leaving a mark in the rushing game, he not only outruns the defenders, he also outruns his blockers on his way to the end zone. And it can get lonely down there sometimes, but congrats to Camilo Perez for being our top play of the week. And we know many plays are worth mentioning, so make sure you send them to us on our website, on our sports section, in the top 3 section to send your submissions. And on to Texas A&M men's soccer team. They battled fellow Aggie institution from Texarkana. Unfortunately, the Jags fell to the Eagles in this road conference game with the final score 3-1. Bailey O'Reilly scored the lone goal for A&M Victoria. The Jags will return home to the Cage this Thursday to face Texas College at 3:30 p.m. And this week 6 of surprising upsets in college football shouldn't affect Aggie fans too much because they took care of business tonight against Mississippi State in College Station. The conference game saw the Aggies outrun and outthrow the Bulldogs. Crossroads own from El Campo, Ruben Owens led the Aggies in rushing with 142 yards and 21 carries. The Aggies win this game easily. Final score 31-9. The Aggies will play the hot Florida Gators, a team that's fresh off of upsetting the Texas Longhorns next weekend. But that does it for your sports. Amaya?
Thank you, Ray. Coming up, who's ready to take flight? More details on this balloon festival next.
Go ahead and grab your phone and scan that QR code that we had on the screen briefly. This is our code to get you connected to the Crossroads Today app. Well, the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta kicked off in Albuquerque, New Mexico Saturday, but due to the winds, the balloons were kept grounded on the inaugural day, and while they were unable to reach the skies, it was still an amazing sight for those in attendance. You could see all these hot air balloons prepped to take off. This fiesta runs through October 12th. Even though they couldn't take off today, they'll definitely have their chance. You can look up in the sky in New Mexico, see all those hot air balloons. That looks like a brain.
That's a brain.
That's pretty cool. How do you even do that?
Yeah, for real, man.
It's amazing how they actually just, can decorate things like that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time. Have a great night and a great weekend.